Wow, I sure can procrastinate. Y'all, I'm Jasper, and I'll be your professional goblin for the evening. And today I'm going over my contribution to the Edgelord narrative campaign, and that was certainly not played 3 weeks ago, but it's still counting for the July Batrep, so it's fine. We are going to be following a narrative event from that guy Jeff regarding an unfortunate incident on the Avaros Hospital campus. JSA forces were unfortunately fed some bad intel, thinking an occupying Morat force was keeping strategic info on Jing movements in the system in a data hub. However, this was actually owned by Hakislam forces. Quickly realizing their mistake, the attack was waved off, all data returned with integrity verified, and as a show of good faith, the radical nationalist JSA crew of Samsara's Wheel has entered negotiations and to serve as supplemental security for the Avaros campus to protect against Jing raiders. This is their story. So, like I said, with the narrative, we're fulfilling a Mercnet contract. This is the first one that was posted for Hakislam versus Jing. Following this incident of State Empire subterfuge, JSA is supplementing a crew of Hakislam mercs to safeguard the shipment of cargo meant to establish the Avaros hospital network in the Human Edge. KTS operative Ozj Ozzy Osman spearheads the squad of himself, a Druze hacker, and Avicenna to oversee the operation. Samsara's Wheel has dispatched a team of elite samurai, motorized troops, and Ryukin to ambush and overwhelm this inevitable Jing raid led by Yamano Inoshishi, the boar on the mountain. The mission that we're playing is Supply Raid, according to the little matrix that Wise Kensai posted. I'm playing JSA, and my friend Steve is playing his Jing. Lieutenant Roloff was JSA. I kept initiative, and I am made to deploy first. And obviously going first. So, going over the army lists. JSA. This is the list that I was bringing. Things that I will point out. I actually posted on the Hakislam campaign, whatever, Discord, and asked for the High Command to supply me an 85-point Soldiers of Fortune to use in my list, and what they returned for me were the Kaplan, the Druze Hacker, and Avicenna, as, hey, that's like almost exactly 85 points, and figure it out. So working around that sandbag was fun. I'm bringing this Dotanko Corps of Damaru, Oda, and the Tanko to push up on the board and potentially set up some mines with Oda for the midfield and keeping them, not isolated. Looking at the mission, Kuroshi Rider seemed like a no-brainer. She's super fast and she's a forward observer. In this supply raid mission, marking these crates in the first couple turns has a forward observer bonus, so it's either her, it's a Damaru forward observer, which I do have in the list, or it's going to be a Karakuri or a ninja forward observer, and I think those are all viable options, but I only have so many points. I have a firebase of 2 Ryukin 9s to just watch over the table with their just monstrous Mim 6 AROs that have proven really good in the past, so, Yeah, so there's no 32-inch high burst. JSA as a faction is very limited in their long-range main high burst guns. You're either looking at a Keisotsu Link, or nowadays you can have the Mechazoid or the Oyori for APHMG, or perhaps you'd buff the Husong with marksmanship. But other than that, you're looking at mostly Spitfires, combi rifles, and submachine guns, and smoke and melee. I'm also not running any sort of ninja or infiltration, so all of this stuff is stuck in my deployment zone, and I have to figure out how to get out, and that is a known problem that JSA usually faces. But those are my three like weak points. Is suboptimal Soldiers of Fortune, I would say. Lack of long range burst and no ninjas, which a ninja forward observer would have been equally overpowered as Kuroshi Rider for this mission, I would think. But moving on to the Jing list. This is what Steve brought, and I confirmed that this is exactly the list. I pointed out that there's an extra point in there that could have been put towards a Shaolin Monk double action, or more likely a giving the Hulong crazy koalas. Oops, is the best I'll say to that. Notably, what he's running is super heavy on this like mimetism, multi-wound, heavy infantry that's all deployed in the midfield. So he's already there, and he's basically just relying on leveraging all those Viz mods and smacking me around. However, I've pointed out that this is lacking a serious fire base, and this is kind of all balls, no shaft, as I like to call it. There is a lot of meat with the heavy infantry. They're packing some serious firepower and guns, but once you get past that, the backline is Quangshi and monks, and that kind of hurts. He's really relying on Luna to cover the entire board with for ARO presence. Otherwise, his big money pieces are getting engaged on. And I did point out after the game, the Zensha and Guilang here both have forward observer options that would probably have helped him out way better in the mission, just to be already on the cases and mark them and pick them up. But shrug. Going into deployment, this is the JSA deployment. I deployed first, and going over what I've got on this left flank here is my Dotenko Corps and the Kaplan, Yojimbo. My two Pangolins are hidden in the corner. Avicenna's tucked way back here. Looking out across this lane, the Chai-Yi is covering this right flank approach, as well as a line of 1, 2, 3 camo mines on the ground, because on this big rooftop, I've got both of my Ryukins that are looking down all this real estate, trying to cut across the board. Notably, with the height of this big rig and crates and stuff, an approach from the right flank and crawling around this way is still possible, or even jumping up and then infiltrating on this side for short angles. But it is what it is what it is. Also, I've got the Kuroshi Rider as my reserve troop, and she was parked behind this crate on the ground. So the plan was to run up and tag this line of crates on my side and just very efficiently get through marking all of them. Now for the Jing deployment. So, like I said, there was a lot of camo and mimetism and forward deployment with all these heavy troopers, with the Daofe Spitfire parked right on top of the roof here, the Zensha taking and the Hulang taking up the side, where they could possibly move up close to either engage with my Ryukins or, mark some stuff. The Guilang put his deployable repeater over on the right flank to contest my Dotenko Corps walking forward. And I forget if it was Bishi or Major Luna that was the reserve troop, but I think it was Bishi, just to give her a safe spot. Luna was parked prone camo on top of this roof. Camo Dao Ying, Lieutenant, obvious pick down there. And then this midline is Quangshi, Monk, Quangshi, Monk. And that's what I was pointing out of, like, if this block of heavy infantry can get breached, then all of this kind of crumples. But spoiler alert, no spoiler alert, you'll see what happens. Moving into JSA's turn 1. We've got Kuroshi Rider's charge. So, Kuroshi Rider is extremely fast. I used my Impetuous Order with her because she was uncontested walking out up to here to just, move forward. And then I continued to move, push button, etc. On the front line of crates. First turn, no problem, easy peasy. She's fast. Second order of operations, Ozzy, the Kaplan Spitfire, had a pretty decent angle on moving in and clearing out the deployable repeater and the Guilang, who had made himself obvious by deploying the repeater. First, I do clear out the repeater very easily. A Spitfire unopposed, just does its thing, but the man ate his carrots. He is able to discover onto the Guilang. However, they gave me some rubber bullets, firing some blanks. The Guilang was making every save for a couple orders, and then Ozzy retreated. So, I figured I would go along with the initial plan with my bikers. I had Yojimbo move up and throw a Crazy Koala, so that he could, flex his utility of it, not just being a smoke piece, not just being a, flank skirmisher, but he is able to, help other pieces as well, because Kuroshi Rider is still going to move up and push those buttons. However, once again, the Guilang proves indestructible as Kuroshi Rider pushes forward and asks the Guilang what he's doing. He eats a Crazy Koala hit, makes the save. Kuroshi Rider, having pushed 4 buttons at this point, actually ate a freeboarding shotgun hit, going into Dogged, because my plan was to engage with the Guilang, and then move up to the 5th crate, and then pushing all those buttons turn 1 puts a massive clock on Yu Jing to respond. Unfortunately, this Guilang just decided he was not going to die this day. He crit Kuroshi Rider in melee on a 11 or 12, and unfortunately she did not crit him, so that was my second wound and kills Kuroshi Rider, and unfortunately I also did not throw a second Crazy Koala down to contest him again, so that Guilang is still standing at the end of my turn. I need to check his dice. Moving on to Yu Jing's turn 1. So let's ask ourselves, what is loyalty to the State Empire good for? Apparently, it's for clearing out the second Crazy Koala that Yojimbo threw out to choke up that midfield. Now, it's Luna's time to, unfortunately, not shine. So, she peeks out, looking at my Ryukin camo, right here, and I decide, okay, if he's going to discover, he's going to discover. I think it's usually better to risk the discover shoot when the target is imposing multiple penalties onto Luna. Why am I going to risk her having 2 dice and getting favorable odds when I can instead, have her discovering at minus 6 or even -9 from cover. I forget what it was, but fortunately, after she discovers me, I get an opportune crit dodge, which allows the Ryukin to chuck back slightly more and still cover down this line. So then, Luna has a question of whether or not she's going to try to push back the second Ryukin, and the determination is she'd have to push so far out on this bridge to actually see him that it would be unfavorable, because we'd be fighting each other, I'd be in cover, she'd be out, and that's the swing point for her of it being just too risky engagement. So now it's time for Yu Jing to try to push up the board, and he's got Hulang, he's got Bishi, and he's got some monks that are going to do some stuff. This monk decides that smoking is all he's going to do today. He moves up, throws smoke out first to here to cover himself, and then spec fires over the wall to clear out the lane for Bishy to run across. And that she does. She is able to move up to the front corner and then cautious move across the gap into the smoke and stay safe from any Ryukin AROs. Unfortunately, it would just take too many orders to put an additional smoke down, cover this crate, and try to get her to press it on the way, but that is the life you live. Then, it's the Hulang's turn. He advances around the corner and decides that he is going to start pushing up and wants to get out into this first crate that I marked to try to contest it. We're gonna see how that works. He very much fails to perform. It did not play out at all. So the real issue here is what happens. The Hulang gets up to the corner, contests the Warcore, and we bounce into the face-to-face. And he decides, I'm going to straight up walk across, say I'm Mim 6, and then dodge, and then take this odd angle that is out of line of fire for both these two pieces to touch the crate and, move on with his life. I think at some point he was able to discover, shoot, or dodge tank the mine that was sitting right in front of the Warcore, but that got dealt with very little consequence. Unfortunately, on this initial move and dodge, both the Warcore and the Flash Pulse are able to hit, and I believe it was a hit and crit on the Flash Pulse, and that stuns and ruins his plan. I think the mistake here was either trying to go for this sort of move dodge and then next order press the button, or he should have I think the play is either you move up and just push the button and say that these are flash pulses, they aren't going to kill me, and then you can retake camo, park yourself up in this corner or behind the plants where you are right in front of the enemy's face, sure, but you are technically out of danger because everything is really awkward to try to engage with you. Unfortunately, once he is stunned, he realizes he has no place to be up here and decides to pull way back to hide behind the crates where it's safe. Bishy had a really bad day here, so I messed up with the lines a little bit. She does attempt to push the crate down here, but it just, I don't know what to say with these really bad dice rolls. She moves up, tries to push this crate, tries to push that crate, and even with forward observer bonus, she's rolling 17 plus and fails either 4 or 6 dice rolls. So she decides to park where it's quote-unquote safe to try to, not get immediately blasted on the JSA turn 2 response, which we're getting to now. So, turn 2, top of turn 2 with JSA. 4 crates somehow miraculously stayed marked, and none got marked for Jing. So this is looking really good for JSA. This is 4 victory points immediately, and if Jing is not able to also mark 4 crates, that is a potential 5th one. So they are on a clock, and they really need to make an aggressive push to start going for these objectives. So, knowing that, I make my own aggressive push, and we're gonna see if that Guilang, is actually invincible, or if he can actually die. Turns out the answer is yes, because the Tanko can in fact finish the job. Also, I've pushed Samurai up to all these little sharp corners to keep them in the most annoying places possible. Basically, this whole block on my left flank, his right flank, has just become unengageable, because no matter what corner you're going around, there's Samurai with templates, there's a Tanko with a shotgun, there's people with EM grenades, Oda's gonna throw down a mine eventually, so this is really tough to actually move through. The midfield has, in fact, been secured. I've, at the start of my turn, I moved my Kaplan into Group 2 because Kuroshi Rider's out, so someone needs to take the orders. So he moves up, and I see that camo on the roof. I figure I might as well try to engage with it. So yeah, he acquired the Group 2. Once again, this guy is able to make discovers, like, really good. He discovers the Guilang. Sorry, not the Guilang. This is a Dao Fei. However, after 6 orders first one was actually climbing up here. Second one was discover shoot, and then 4 more shots into the Dao Fei, and he is still standing with only taking 1 wound, even though I've got the active turn burst advantage. So, oof. However, I make one critical mistake here, which is that I actually kept my Kaplan looking at the Dao Fei instead of nudging slightly over and perhaps going prone at the end of one of these movements. That would have kept him... I would not have been contesting the Dao Fei from immediately moving, but it would have kept him alive, and I feel like, in hindsight, that would have been a better way to end my position in turn 2. But that is not all I did turn 2, because I had to move my Samurai back. So, first things first, the Tanko actually dodged the Guilang's mine, because the Guilang decided he was dead. I told Steve, like, hey, either, if you try to punch me, then if you're not threatening me with multiple wounds, then I will simply put 3 shotgun templates on you. If you try to dodge or do anything else, then I will contest it with my 26 with my martial arts. So he decides, hey, he's dead, I'm gonna put a mine in the way, and it actually looked like Oda from that position was within range of the mine going off if I tried to move back, but it turns out we were at like 8.5, so she was just out. The Damaru Forward Observer takes this corner, Oda pulls back and places a mine, and, like, once again, the midfield is fully locked, I can put the mine down. However, I will not regret at all keeping Oda standing, or putting her at this corner instead, as we will come to find out. With a couple of extra orders, which I could have once again spent on moving the fire team to slightly more optimal places, I decided to take some Hail Marys with these heavy infantry that were posted up around me, because they're overextended. So let's try to take advantage of it with no risk to my guys. Unfortunately, they're all extremely high fizz heavy infantry, so with 3 Specfire EM grenades on the Hulang, the Dao Fei, and Bishi in the back corner, they're all making their dodges. And once again, this positioning certainly will not come back to haunt me. We're gonna see what happens. Jing's turn 2. It is time for the Dao Fei to extract some revenge. Steve did some shuffling around and got his troopers into... I think everyone just moved into Group 1 at this point, because I scalped a couple of orders off of him, and, like, the one Quang Shi died. But yeah, I should have taken cover. This Kaplan was in a really bad spot, however, it does take the Dao Fei a couple orders to actually get to him. Now, the bad part is you can see right here, that's Oda, and she's standing. The Dao Fei is able to walk along the roof, catch her completely out of cover, and, shred her. My bad. Now it's time for Bishi to actually prove what she's capable of. So, climbing plus super jump. She gets up there. Only 2 presses needed to secure the middle objective. And we had a little bit of a funny moment of, like, hey, I'm gonna move up here, I'm gonna get up here and push the button, and... it's one of those cases where I love Infinity being a cooperative game where I don't have to stress over, hey, the place that you're actually moving the model is going to get you blasted, but I know for a fact that you've got climbing plus and super jump on her. There is some theoretical line where she is going to walk and be perfectly invisible. And yeah, so she's able to just casually climb up a wall, climb back down, hop down, and like I said before, Jing is really on the back foot and needed to push aggressively, and this is where some of that aggression might have, turned against him. Bishy actually walks out this corner because she is in a close range band and dodges against the Ryukin that was able to see her walking across that lane. Now, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, she does successfully dodge. But we'll get to the unfortunate part immediately after, is Bishy's big oof. When she's at this objective, she decides, hey, I'm going to take this coin flip. She does successfully push the button. However, she loses the coin flip of being in cover, Ryukin shooting at her at the 0 band, and she also drops 3 saves in a row, so she gets immediately deleted by HRL. So then Jing is now on the back foot, needs to fall way back, which the Hulang does. He walks all the way back to this crate to try to push the button. The Zensha moves up as well, and they are both able to push their buttons first try, even though they aren't forward observers. So now there are 4 crates marked, and JSA has to respond, because if I do nothing, then he still has a whole bunch of heavy infantry. It's going to be pretty tough for me to actually push. The last crate that is marked on the table is way off to the side here, and it's right in front of his deployment zone. So that's a tough ask for me. I'd have to push through Luna somehow, and I don't really have good pieces to do that. And once again, there's a Dao Fei, etc., blocking me off, and it's my last turn. And now we see how this plays out. Turn 3 JSA. Yojimbo is got a plan. We have to charge onto the center. This is the only one that looks viable for me to contest and flip. And if I can, then that represents a 3 victory point swing for me. So anyway, Yojimbo, man on a mission. He zooms up, tosses smoke to block off line of fire from the side, and this allows me to get a Damaru to jump up and then dodge around into the Dao Fei to try to engage with it. Unfortunately, I used the Damaru forward observer. I feel at this point I should have used the normal Damaru lieutenant, because the forward observer has no business being up here, because I can't push the button. I can only crack it, and I need a DACC weapon in order to crack it, which neither of them have. The reason why the lieutenant would have been better is obviously the lieutenant order. It's turn 3. I don't care about going in loss of lieutenant. Oh well. The Damaru have CC a million, and that is the easy way to win against a Dao Fei. Starting in engage state, I actually didn't berserk into him. I wanted to melee because of the JSA secret objective for this month. But now, the Dao Fei is dead, there's smoke in the way, Yojimbo is easily able to run up and potentially crack this crate. So yeah, the red carpet has been rolled out, he is ready to go. So Yojimbo, let's smash and grab. These buildings are the perfect height for a size 2 model to full order jump straight up onto it if they start in base-to-base contact, which he was. We had to stop and actually measure it, but yeah, James has a massive vertical on this table. I can crit a stationary object. Now, this was a really risky order, because what you don't see on screen is Luna lurking overhead, who is going to take a shot at James for cracking this crate. The crate is arm 4, 2 wounds, and Yojimbo is only operating with I say only operating, but it's a Fizz 17 modified DACC weapon. It is very likely that he rolls 114, I don't crack the crate, and we have a very hotly contested game on the way. However, I do crit, and he rolls 2 13s, so that is a exploded crate. That is one marked crate that Jing does not score, and it gives him the lunchbox. Because Luna also misses her shot. Yojimbo is able to stand behind here and secure the contents of the crate. It is that single order represents probably, let's see, that's 1 victory point denied to Yu Jing for having the crate. That is plus 1 victory point for JSA marking more crates. That is a crate smashed, and there's only 1 more crate on the table that's way back here. So at best, Yu Jing can smash 1 crate and we tie. I'm holding the crate as well. So that's like a 4 VP swing from that order going well. This is shown a little bit out of order, as you can tell by the models that are on here, but just for clarity's sake, Avicenna goes on a little bit of a walk. I knew I had to. I was out of command tokens. She had to do something. So here's the director's cut. In between Yojimbo and the Damaru doing stuff on the roof, she has to walk up. I was considering a few things. Either picking the Kaplan back up at the start of my turn to try to engage with the Daofei, or to resurrect Oda to be a D-charge user to try to crack the crate. But ultimately, both those options seemed way too order-intensive. It was cutting it way too close. I needed to make the risky play, and it paid off. So anyway, yeah, like I said, this was a very unnecessary, 15-minute think, which it really should not have been. The answer was, get the fast boys to make the 1 order coin flip and see where that lands before I try to do all the other hard stuff. Luna once again is the MVP of the game for me, because what you are not seeing here is this Damaru was able to move away from the Daofei. Second skill is Case Fact. In this month, JSA's secret objective is taking hostages. We are allowed to Case Fact enemy operatives. I have a higher fizz than the Daofei, so I'm able to pick him up, pull him around the corner, and Luna misses her shot on a 17. So now Avicenna's route is really obvious. I walk up and secure the hostage. I am so the Damaru was able to pull the Daofei out of Luna's. The Damaru was able to pull the Daofei in such a way that the Damaru is out of Luna's line of fire. Avicenna can walk up and let me just start this one all over again. So the Damaru is able to pull the Daofei out of Luna's line of fire. He can end in a position that is out of Luna's line of fire, so he's really hard to engage. Yojimbo spends the last order that he has available to him to fall prone and secure the lunchbox. Avicenna, with 6-2, is easily able to jump up and place the Daofei and herself in such a way that I am double dipping, because I am getting the JSA secret objective, securing the hostage, and she's a veteran, so she's able to take the classified objective that I have, which I believe was it is captured, blah. So let's see how Yu Jing digs themselves out of this hole that they are in. So what happens on Yu Jing's turn 3? Oh, unfortunately it didn't. So it is statistically improbable at this point. We're looking at JSA with a 6-3 at that moment in time. He would have to smack Yojimbo off the rooftop to drop the crate, smash the crate on the other side of the board, and then bring his Zensha all the way across the board to do his classified objectives, and then maybe we have a tie. And there's just simply not enough orders on his side to be able to do all of those things. So we decide, hey, Yu Jing's gonna pull back, It's a JSA victory. Everyone who's still alive and not captured as a hostage is going to retreat and fight again some other day. So the mission results. Samsara's wheel, because of ending in that way, actually gets a 10-3 JSA victory. But once again, this is closer than you think. So, like, there are a couple of cases of missed forward observer button pushes by Bishi. There's that one order of Yojimbo that's a 4 victory point swing. Like, this could have actually been a much closer game in turn 3, but then a couple of critical dice rolls went JSA's way and really hammered the nails into the coffin and secured the game out our way. Yeah, so these two shots from Luna, once again, that's a 4 victory point swing at least for that Yojimbo order. Her not killing the Damaru when he tries to pull the Daofei around is another 2 victory points. Bishi failed some buttons, but like I was delayed super hard, super early with the Guilang and Daofei, just eating all of my Group 1 and Group 2 orders and stunting Kuroshi Rider. That, I don't know, maybe it's balanced out with the dice disparity, but you know, I would need to keep a massive running tally to actually give you the final answer here. So like I said about the lists earlier, if those extra FOs or if the crazy koala stuff was able to get put on the table with the Hulang, then I think this also really changes the pace of the game, because he doesn't have to move Bishi up all the way to push the button. He just has a Guilang or a Zensha that are just right there that are able to push the button. I think the lack of ARO presence on the table really hindered Yujing's ability to hinder JSA from walking up the table. However, I did have 85 points sandbagging, and functionally could have been a lot of other stuff. If that was a Damaru Spitfire instead of the Kaplan, then he would have been shooting an extra dice and on a higher ballistic skill even. You know, Avicenna feels really weird when all of my guys are Phys 14 to pick up, so probably a paramedic is more ideal than needing to spend 35 points on a Whip 18 doctor. But that's kind of where you're at. But it was narrative, so, you know, feeling good about having the Haqqislam mercenaries here, I feel like was a really good list constraint for me, and I feel like the lists are end up being pretty balanced against each other. It came down to the coin flippy dice rolls instead of a just like massive one-sided avalanche. But yeah, that's where we're at. So if you are thinking of joining this Edgelord narrative campaign, it's probably too late to get your July Batrep in, but this is planning on going for like the whole year. Like, Jesus Christ, good job. Oh, like, good luck, Wise Kensai. I'm gonna put some links in the bottom of the video for you to check out the narrative for the campaign and see how you can contribute. But yeah, I played a game. Good night.